Okay, so we've already made our two circles that we need for our lantern. So I'm going to make these now into components before I do anything else. Make that into a component. Component 1, that's fine. And then this will be component 2. And what I'm going to do is just kind of hide these guys so that I can make the next thing that I need to make, which is, according to the guidebook, these two legs. Now, they're pretty simple. They're rectangles with some slots cut out of them. And if you're sharp-eyed, you'll also notice that the height and every dimension of this one is identical to every dimension of that one, except for this little bit sticking out the bottom here. So I'm going to start off by drawing this, and you can see it's a rectangle of 400 by 90. So let's do that first. And I'm going to, actually, you know what? I'm going to actually unhide those two circles until I get my view into this orientation. And you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to re-hide them. Edit, hide, and the reason I got my view into this orientation was because now it makes it really easy for me to make a standing up rectangle rather than a laying down rectangle. And let me double check what the size was. 400 by 90, right? So 90, 400 gives me my base rectangle for this shape. And now that I've got that drawn, I can rotate it round to the angle I need so you can see better what I'm doing. And I've got a distance of 25 from the bottom and a distance of 25 from the top and a distance of 20 from the bottom, and then beyond each of those measurements a slot, and both of the slots are 12, and they go in by 40. So 25 from the top, so I'm going to take my 25 from the top and 12 beyond that, and in by 40. And then we have 20 from the bottom, and then 12 again as the thickness, which is that. All right, which allows us then, of course, to go in with our pencil tool, draw the shapes, carefully making sure that we snap onto the intersections, so we're doing it super accurately, and then by selecting like that, right to left, so it selects anything it touches, I can delete the parts that I don't need. All right, good to go. Now, going back to the drawing, you can see as well the thickness of these is also not specified, but you can work out the thickness by going back and noting that this thickness of this, the width of this slot is 12. Knowing that this has to slot into that slot, then you can tell the thickness is going to be 12. So let's go back to SketchUp, take the push-pull tool, and make that 12 thick. And there we have it. Now's the time to make that into a component. And there we go. Now, if you remember just about a minute ago, a minute or two maybe, we noted that this is identical to that, other than the fact that we have this kind of triangular leg area at the bottom of this one. And we've got a little straight part there of 18 before that angles up to meet at that bottom corner there. Now that's a really easy thing to adjust on our already made piece. So I'm going to make myself a copy of the component by hitting the Option key when I move it. Just move it up the green axis a little ways there. And I only want one of these to change. I want two different versions. So I want this one to be the one with the leg. I want this one to remain as it is. So I'm going to hold down Control and I'm going to make this one unique, which means that when I edit this component, this one will not be changed. So go into edit mode, double click, and I want to have a little foot here of 18 and then that angled down. So I'm going to select this edge, take my move tool, hit the option key or control if you're using a PC, and move that in by 18 millimeters. Now, if you watched one of my previous videos, you'll know that by using the move tool, I can make this shape really easily. So I'm going to move that selected area here down now by 200. Making sure that I'm moving directly down, and I know that because it tells me I'm moving on the blue axis. Type 200, and there you see I have the distance that I need. Get rid of those unwanted guidelines that we don't need. And there I have the two rectangular pieces. So let's go back to and unhide the two circles. And the only thing we need to do in the next video is put the whole thing together.